The third Doctor presents an interesting deck building dilemma. The third encourages you to construct an army of non-creature tokens and do nothing with them. The third gets +1/+1 for each non-creature token we have, which will mainly consist of clues, foods and treasures from across Magic's history. Just 19 tokens and that's 21 commander damage. There are two main choices for companions as I see it. Sarah Jane Smith gives you white and probably the best single card for the deck, Smothering Tithe. She also gives you more tokens just by progressing your game plan, like playing Mana Rocks. But I haven't built with Sarah this time, instead opting out for our Liverpudlian lad, Dan. You can equip your extra food right onto the Doctor, essentially halving the token requirement for a commander kill, and frankly, equipping a food token is just funny. Red also gives us a ton of treasure powerhouses that we'll get into. So what's in the deck? We have our bog standard ramp, of course, with a leaning towards artifact based ramp because Dan can equip it to himself or the Doctor. Don't underestimate a Dan commander damage win. But otherwise, you can guess we have a ton of token generators. We have some simple single generators like Many Partings and Martha Jones, but we want most of our token cards to produce multiple and often. The tireless trio will keep the tokens flowing. Osgood makes 4 just from casting our commanders and gives us free mana to crack or equip clues. Gala Greeters, Gildagoose, Magda and Lannery can ramp us up early, and once we're on our way, leave the treasures alone. Lotus and Facebreaker can give us a massive amount of tokens for playing and attacking with any creatures. We just want all our cards to be able to go off on the token count, with City of Death, Heaven Sent and Guild Artisan getting very big very quickly. Skever Thief can turn regular artifacts into token for us, and these still count so long as they aren't creatures. But our most powerful token maker isn't a standard token at all. It places a curse on our foes. Asinine Antics makes all opposing creatures a 1/1, potentially at instant speed, which is already good for blocking given the third has trample. But it effectively reads for each creature your opponent control, the Doctor gets +1/+1, which in even a modest game can end the game right there, especially if someone's played, say, an Avenger of Zendikar. Other token cameos include Stormfleet Negotiator, able to make up to 4 maps a turn, and Chromehost Sea Chart, giving us a ton of Incubate tokens we don't want to flip unless in a pinch. But our most powerful token type by far is Power Stone. Despite appearing in just one set and having a few playable cards, they are incredibly good in this deck for their synergy with Dan, always able to tap themselves to equip themselves. Unlike Treasure and Clues, we can use them to their fullest without sacrificing them, so cards like Cards and if Great Worm, the Brothers War and Visions of Phyrexia let us amass these tokens. But while we have all these tokens, we need to find some way to use them beyond just sitting around. The best way is with Jaheira, Urza or Inspiring Vantage, turning all of our tokens into mana, and suddenly our deck can get very explosive, especially with a Bootlegger Slash in play. Junk Winder and Fort Monitor can take advantage of our artifact count, and Bigger on the inside will never struggle to find a non-land target here. And our deck is in the unique position of wanting us to have as many treasures as possible but never using them, which makes counter magic an ever-present threat from this deck. I've included 5, as while ideally we never crack those treasures, if it's to protect the rest of our tokens, it'll be worthwhile. And as our tokens simply vanish in the face of a Vandal Blast or Cyclonic Rift, it's especially important we have protection for them. Beyond that, I've included a few stragglers that may not be a perfect fit for the deck, but I enjoy. I can't not add a TARDIS to a Time Lord deck, and with that in the command zone giving us an easy 2-drop, a Cascade Trigger can easily find our Sol Ring or Carpet and really boost our mana. Genesis Ultimatum plus Maelstrom Wanderer are just super strong in Tema, and will both find us multiple token producers. Plus, on principle, I can't play a deck capable of casting Maelstrom Wanderer and not play it. Since a lot of our token generation incidentally makes clues while we ideally don't want to sacrifice them, it does mean we can often keep the cards flowing if we run out. We don't run much of a card advantage, but this Sanith chap and Idol of Oblivion can just keep the cards flowing every turn, which is basically a one-sided Howling Mine for 2 mana. Oh, and my mana base is suboptimal, so I'm not going to go into it. I already have another Tema deck, and this deck has the scraps of my Tema option, so I wouldn't take inspiration from it, but just use what you have. Make sure you have more green mana than anything else. And finally, what's missing? Doubling Season and Parallel Lives are probably good, but I don't own them, so I haven't tested them. Maybe I'll get them one day. But there we go. I look forward to playing this deck more. I've already killed someone with commander damage when they had 20 blockers. Deck feels good. Thanks for watching. See you next time.